Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Amber. If this is your first time here, welcome. I do videos on everything that I love, so it's going to be a nice little mixture of fashion, hair, food, fitness, wellness, and then you might see some friends and family pop up as well. Today's video, I wanted to talk about something that has been on my heart. It's been in conversations I've been having with different friends, and it's about appreciating your current season. Yes, all parts of it. So I know for me personally, and most of my friends, and probably y'all, because we on the same, if you on this channel, you watching this, we on the same page with this stuff. We have major dreams and goals that we see for ourselves, and if not, stick around long enough, you're gonna get some major dreams and goals, okay? But we have different things that we are really seeing for our future. And I don't know about y'all, but I haven't hit those things yet. Not to say I haven't hit anything, hit some goals, but a lot of the major ones are still off into the distance. And when I close my eyes, I can see this picture of this just like woman who is doing her thing and got a cute little dog and a beautiful apartment. And it's just, yes, she's awesome. Okay. She's helping people. She loves the work she does. She's doing it. She's doing her thing. When I open my eyes, the reality is much different. And so it can feel like, man, I wish I could just skip ahead, especially the days on my current job where it's a little rough. And so I'll be like, why am I going through this? I wish I could just like click my little heels and be on to the next season, skip ahead through all this stuff. And I feel like I'm not alone in that. But one thing that I know, and my mindset really started to shift about this when I watched Transformation Church's relationship goals. So I would encourage you all, if you have not seen the first, like I like the whole Reloaded and everything. I love all of it. But I think when my mindset really started to shift is when I watched Relationship Goals Before the Person and Single Not Alone. So watch those first and then come on back. But one of the things that I really pulled from that series is really just appreciating the current season that you're in. Even if it's one that you're just like, I don't like this, why am I going through it? There's something in this right here and now that you need to learn. There's something, for me, I'm a Christian, so you're going to hear me reference it. There's something that God is trying to teach us in this season that we're in, and none of it is wasted. So, real life example, my own life, I started out right after, high school, went to college, and my first school I attended for 2.5 years. So, everything is cool, well, the school wasn't my dream school, but I was just happy to be in college, okay? And so by this, it was the third year, and so, because I said I went 2.5 years, the third year, all of a sudden it was like, you owe all this money to financial aid. What? You got to hold on your account. Oh my gosh, like where did this huge bill come from? You can't register for your classes. And even before everything happened with the money, I went to my then guidance counselor, and she let me know that I had been taking classes that I did not need. Like, she advised me the one semester, to take these different classes. I come back the next semester and she's like, why did you take that? And I'm like, you told me to take this. She proceeded to tell me about how she was about to retire, and she is just ready to be done with it. So it was basically like, sorry kid, so that already had a bad taste in my mouth. But then when they said I owed all this money, it was like, oh my goodness. So I had to come home my third year, and you come home from school, it's like, okay, what's plan B? You ain't about to just be sitting up in our house, drinking all of our water, eating all our food. Black families. And they were right. So I got a job at Applebee's. Now this Applebee's was, I ain't gonna say the area because I don't want nobody to get me, but Applebee's was a little rough, okay? The people that came and ate at the restaurant was kind of not the nicest of people. They were trying to run out on their bill constantly. My managers and supervisors was a little crazy too. The servers, like everybody was cool when it was slow, but once the restaurant got busy, whole nother side, everybody cussing each other out, just out, and I'm young, I'm a college student. I'm like, how did I get from being on the quad to being in here slinging 50-cent wings and doing refills of lemonade and just hustling, And there were times that I just hated it. I was like, oh my gosh, why am I here? I don't like this job. And we didn't have breaks, just a lot of just bad. And then the food was so cheap, so people really wasn't tipping us like that. And like I said, you had 50-cent wings, and at one point it was like unlimited wings, unlimited lemonades, bottomless fries, all these deals. So they get their check and it's like $9. What's the tip off of that? Nothing. So just a lot of times at Applebee's, a lot of stories, but there were moments where I just really hated it. I was just like, why? Oh, the worst though was when people from the school that I went to at first, and I just say it was Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville. And there were times where people would come in and they would treat me different. They wouldn't, we still peers, we're still the same age, but I remember people who were like very uppity, they looked down on me. Mind you, they hadn't graduated college. They didn't have no job for, a salary and all this other stuff. They were just a junior they were just like juniors or possibly seniors, because I worked there a year. And so they would come in and barely want to speak to me. It was really crazy. And I just had to kind of say, like, this isn't forever. This isn't my forever thing. And that was when I really started to develop vision for what I see for myself, vision for the next stage. But in developing that vision, and I was doing things like, research, because I wanted to go to another school. And then I would also look into pageants, because I really wanted to go to a HBCU. But I wasn't sure, but I wanted to go to HBCU and I wanted to be in a pageant. And I would tell myself, that was going to be me. That was going to happen for me. I was going to be back on a college campus. I was going to be, I was going to get my degree. And whenever they would have different games on, college games, I would look at it and say, I'm going to be in the stands of one of those places. And, but my reality wasn't that. It was working these sections with people who were super rude, who, I think I said it, but they would like run out on their bill. So it was like, if a table runs out on their bill, the server had to pay for it. It was just ratchet. They would be stealing the plates and the silverware. It's like, why do you want to steal some Applebee's plates? And it was like, had the words Applebee's on it. Imagine going to somebody's house and you trying to eat something real quick and they pull out Applebee's and chili plates out the cabinet. Like, it was crazy. But anyhow, although I really did not like that season, I remember just focusing in on it. I remember focusing on how I felt and just telling myself, this isn't a forever thing, but I'm just going to take all this in. I'm going to take in the way I feel right now. I know that I don't want to feel like this the rest of my life. I know I don't want people talking to me like I'm crazy. Supervisors constantly threatening my job, even though they really didn't mean it. But I didn't want to be in that type of environment forever. So I took it in. One night in particular, I can remember, after the restaurant closed, you still got to clean up. So people would let their kids just have at it, just crumbs and crayons and torn up little children's menus and just awful. So it was one of those nights, and I had the little vacuum cleaner that it's like a book bag. You put it on your back and then you vacuum it all over the place. And I remember pulling out the benches, and the rest of the team went home. You know, they just did not care. And because I was young and, you know, I was just like, okay, whatever they tell me to do, I'm supposed to do it, right? And so it was me and this older lady named Miss T. I'll never forget her. And she used to be like on it. She was a sweetheart, but if the job had to get done, you know, she was like laying down the law. So I was the only one to stay, so she was laying down the law to me. And I remember we stayed in there at 3 a.m. And I just remember, like, I'm going to remember this. I'm going to take it all in and somewhat kind of just appreciate it and be present so I don't relive this. And one thing that I know is that there's so much that I learned from that season. I became so much stronger. I became a person that was a lot more vocal about the things that I felt, because if I didn't get vocal, I was going to get run all over, you know, by the other servers. You put some food in, you know, you order something for your table. And so what they would do is they didn't care if they put the order in, they would just grab it as soon as they could. And so here I am looking silly, and that was my food that was supposed to go out. And I had to start being bold and saying, that's mine. And, you know, something as simple as that. No, you didn't just put that order in. Check the ticket time. That was a big deal for me, because before I would just be like, oh, you know, oh, it's okay, no problem. They'd be like, you know, just take it. They wouldn't care. And so I had to become more vocal with my team members. I had to be more vocal with the people out, you know, who I was serving, and say, hey, you're not going to talk to me any type of way. I had, you know, so there was things that I learned in that season. And I could talk about Applebee's. Oh my gosh, so many stories from that time. Just crazy stuff. I remember I had this party of like 18 people, and they just ran me ragged the whole night, because I had a section, a huge section. I want to say it was like 12 tables packed with people, maybe 10 or 12 tables, but they were the biggest. And I remember they wanted to split up their check some special way. They ran me ragged the whole time, and then 7 of them ended up dipping out. I'm glad I said this, yes. 7 of them ended up dipping out on the check. They didn't even want to pay it. Or they didn't pay it, you know, because I brought all the checks all at once, and they just knew how to finesse. Say, we not ready. Did we ask for those? They asked for theirs. We didn't ask for ours. So me, I'm just like, oh, okay, you know. And so I was noticing that some people were going to the bathroom, and then they weren't coming back. And so the people that left, they started to leave. You were paid. They started to leave. And then there was, I think it was actually 4. It wasn't 7. It was 4. Because actually later on that night, somebody else tried to dip out on their check. So it was 4 of them that left. And I remember just going to my supervisor, because it was such a hectic night, and just saying, like, they just left and you need to comp their food. Because I worked too hard to sit up and give up any of my tips, because these people just sat up and left. And I remember that was one of the first times where I really had to stand my ground and stand up for myself. And what did he do? He comped the food. So that's one of the main things that I wanted to say. There's something that you're learning in this season, and to appreciate it, even if it's tough. No season is wasted. It's all going to really fit together in a puzzle. And one day you're going to look back and say, wow, I learned this there. You know, I learned how to do this. I learned this about myself. And then the other part of it is the good things. We have to appreciate the current season that we're in, because there's opportunities that we're going to have in this time that we're not going to have in the future. So for me right now, currently being single, you know, and not married, not having any kids, there's things that I can do with my time and my money that I just won't be able to do the same way when I'm married. It's not to say that my life is going to end, because it's not. But if I want to spend my time doing this, you know, recording a video for a certain amount of time, there's nobody that I am having to answer to. There's nobody that I'm responsible for right now except for myself. And like I said, it's not to say that it can't be balanced or juggled, because it will. And I know that I'll learn how to adapt when I get to that stage. But just taking in the here and now, just different things that I can do, the freedom that I have to do things with different friends, and just taking it all in and appreciating all of the good, like I said, the things that I can do with my money, pay off a certain amount of bills and debt, or learn about investing, learn about some different ways that I can set myself up for success when I do have my family, and just taking it all in here and now. The worst thing that we will want to do is just be so focused on trying to skip ahead to the future. And my little camera is saying low battery, but the worst thing that we would want to do is just continue to want to skip ahead to the future and miss all the good in the season that is now. So yes, I hopefully that was not too much. Hopefully it was encouraging. But yes, just take it in. Anything that you want to do, anything that we want to do, even if you are a person who's married, or you're older, or whatever, or maybe you're younger, man, take in the here and now. I don't want to be thinking back in this time of being 28 and just so focused on being that woman that I see, you know, that I visualize, and just missing all of the good and the opportunity now. And so then when I become that woman I visualize, and the different responsibilities I'll have, the trade-off that's going to happen with my time, I don't want to look back and be like, man, I miss the good old days. It's like, be grateful for wherever you are. Be thankful and just appreciative for the present. So that's all I have to say. I hope you all have an amazing, amazing day. And yes, just be thankful for where you are, and the opportunities that you have in this time that you may not have in the future, the people that you just get to see, and things that you might just take for granted. You know, think about the responsibilities that you'll have in the future, and yes, how it might be a trade-off. And so live this one out completely, so when you get to the next one, there's no regret. There's no, oh, I missed that time, you know. Like, I don't want to be telling my husband and my kids, I miss being single. And no, because I'm going to be ready for it. I'm going to do everything that I want to do during this time and now. So yes, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.